August 12th, Tri-City United School Board regular meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. and we are located here in the TCU High School Band Room. The roll call shows all present except for Josh. And we will move forward. And with our administrative report, Superintendent Preissler, please.
Thank you. I had a few highlights. I know this will get to be a lot fuller report here now as we come into September. Appreciate, though, the updates from our building principals and directors. Within TCU Montgomery, our targeted services summer school took place over the 12 days. They were Monday through Thursday, and had a good turnout. There were 33 students in grades 4 through 8 and 25 in grades K through 3. And from the looks of some of the social media posts on the projects they were doing, the kids really enjoyed it. And talking with one of the teachers who taught, she had not done summer school for a long time, and said how much she really enjoyed the different setting and doing the different types of things. Within our Tri-City United Community Education, I know Tiffany Crabb accepted a position and is moving her family out to Milwaukee, where her family is, so we've missed her, and left at the end of July. She certainly did a lot of things before she left, getting our catalog and our district newsletter all completed. Hopefully everyone's received those in the mail, and then doing lots of handing off. We have had, as we know, that we're doing a shared position with Minnesota Millworks. And I did receive word today that we have a number of applicants and we'll be looking to do interviews in the near future. Mr. Wilbright has been busy with setting up our new teacher tours, which will be the Wednesday of new teacher workshop, and as well as the 20 United for Healthy Youth Day, our event on Thursday the 22nd, which is always a big event, letting people know about all the activities. But lots of things happening within community ed. And hopefully people will be able to join in all the fun and learning. In our business office, it's time to start getting ready for the audit, which will take place the week of September 16th. And then also, as you know, we've conducted a summer food service program, and Amy with Taher and Brenda Rozier have worked really hard on that. We were in an review or an audit this year, and their review of our summer food service program was satisfactorily completed, with no required actions or follow-ups, so that's always a good thing. Within our Tri-City United Lonsdale, some of the work that they've been doing, of course, with flexible learning and all of the furniture, and then also their building leadership team has met here in July and are developing year-long plans to continue to work on prevention of bullying and just simply positive and appropriate behaviors. And then something kind of different that they're piloting and trying out this year is a Sunday play date for our incoming kindergartners this Sunday from 4:30 to 6. It is at the Lonsdale Playground, and they're going to have some popsicles and lemonade, and thought it would be a fun way for the kids to come and kind of get to know one another as families and them. And again, great way to pilot something new for our district. Within our high school, lots of things happening as well. If you recall, a while back we did do the hearing on the parking permits and fees. That information on moving to a tiered system has gone out, and they are receiving registrations for that. And it'll be interesting to see how that all comes together, but it's always worth trying something new in ways to help make us as efficient as possible. And of course, our very first official soccer practice happened this morning, and the kids were all pretty excited, as well as the coaches and everything else. So it'll be really fun to see the inaugural season of Tri-City United Soccer for boys and girls. And then within our food service, some of the things, so this is our last week for summer meals, for the breakfast and for the lunches. We've just had a great turnouts, and our staff has done a fabulous job, and they've been working on some monthly safety training for food service. So moving along and really being quite an incredible team.
Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Make a motion.
Motion by Christie. Krista?
I'll second it.
Second by Marcia. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Under our consent motion, we have the approval of our minutes from July 8th of the school board meeting. Under personnel, new hires, Alicia Klehr, Little Titans preschool teacher, Le Center. Lydia Guthridge, half-time second grade, Montgomery. Christine Ressler, the KidZone rap site leader, Montgomery. Amy Pepin, KidZone rap site leader, Le Center. Melissa Bell, Special Olympics instructor. Rebecca Pauly, B squad volleyball coach. Molly Tiede, junior high volleyball coach. Chloe Davis, C squad volleyball coach. Alexis Turgeon, occupational therapist, district-wide. Allison Beesley, 7th and 8th grade counselor, Montgomery and Le Center. Jennifer Philipp, the cheerleading coach. Jennifer Philipp, paraprofessional in the high school. Christie Conley, high school administrative assistant. John Schmiesing, driver's education coordinator. Carrie Langer, head boys and girls soccer coach. Rachel Steffen, KidZone supervisor, Lonsdale. Alicia DeGrego, paraprofessional, Lonsdale. Noah Steffen Brown, fall musical pit director. Robin Rutt, paraprofessional, Lonsdale. Chrissy Kieser, homebound teacher in the high school. Christine Elwood, paraprofessional, Montgomery. Sue Rutt, paraprofessional, Le Center. Carolyn Streets, KidZone supervisor, Lonsdale and Le Center. Haley Faber Sowija, assistant, FFA advisor. Under
We have one
employment,
more hire as well, I
Oh.
see on the, must have missed from this coming across.
Matthew
Knutson.
Knutson, CTS band.
Long-term sub.
Long-term sub, long-term sub. Thank you.
Yep, that just came about, so
Okay,
we're
thank
glad
you.
to have him.
Yep, thank you. Underemployment ending, Kayla Claffey, ELL, paraprofessional in Le Center. Madeline O'Neill, paraprofessional in the high school. Sarah Wermenscheider, school nurse in Le Center. Katie Schultz, paraprofessional in the high school. Ken Helen, driver's ed education. Megan Oss, third grade, Lonsdale. Amy Pepin, paraprofessional, high school. Oz Carson, cook helper, high school. Mary Lorenzen, kitchen helper, Montgomery. Dylan Greger, KidZone, Lonsdale. Leave of absence, we have Danny Fredrickson, kindergarten in Montgomery. Deb Matza, cook in Lonsdale. Libby Carr, early childhood special education, Le Center. Under the contracts, special services director, director of IT and facilities, special service office coordinator, Tri-City United Education Association, and then two technology assistant contracts. Under the policies, this is the second and final reading. Open meeting and closed meeting, 205, 402, disability and non-discrimination, 410, family medical leave policy, 413, harassment and violence, 413, form of the harassment and violence, 415, mandated report of maltreatment in vulnerable adults, 419, tobacco-free environment, 423, employee-student relationship, 514, bully probation, 522, student sex non-discrimination, 524, internet acceptable use and safety policy, 532, use of peace officer crisis team to remove students with IEPs from school, 603, curriculum development, 616, school district systems accountability, 618, assessment of student achievement, 624 online learning options, 713 student activity accounting, and 806 crisis management policy. The approval of the bills in the amount of $3,308,115.89, and the finance report. I will entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ashley,
I'll second it.
second by Marcia. Any discussion?
I would like to just review again on the policies. We brought these forward last month as the first reading. They were reviewed by our policy committee, and in each instance, these were the reflection of legislative changes this last spring and then MSBA updates. So bringing those forward so we're prepared for the next school year. We do have a number of contracts, and each of these have minimal language changes within our directors, coordinators, and technology assistant positions, and a basic salary increase, and not all of them have an increase on, slight increase on insurance, except for special services office coordinator. Our Education Association, we have been in negotiations through an interest-based bargaining process since May, and Michelle and Marcia and Josh served on that. Really want to speak to the collaboration that occurs through that process. It's a long one with a lot of dialogue, but a lot of good conversation comes out of it and a lot of understanding. So we can see through the executive summary, there was a number of language items that were brought forward through this in a tentative agreement. There was a basic schedules and rates of pay. A big piece here on the lanes was within the master's degree to really reinforce the attainment of that higher educational degree. Some other aspects, supplemental compensation. Some of this was just a cleanup from the last time. We moved some MOU language on part-time teachers into the contract. Slight increase in family insurance in year 1 and in year 2. And then a really large section was the unrequested leave of absence language, which is required by state statute that become a negotiated item versus a statute-based item. And we spent a lot of time on it. And, you know, it was, again, I think a topic that it was about reaching a point that really did fit the needs of our education association as well as the needs of our district for the long term. So again, really commend the professionalism that happened in those dialogues. And then benefits and salary packages. So it's good to have a contract negotiator or a tentative agreement before the start of the year so we can focus on what we need to focus on, but I really want to commend all of our staff across the board with these contracts and the work that they do.
Any other questions of Superintendent Preisler or any other comments? I'd like to thank Marcia and Michelle and Josh. I know Josh is not here, but for your many hours of work that you did with that, we appreciate it very, very much. And Superintendent Preisler, of course, as well.
Jean was key.
And Jean was key. Well, thank you, Jean. And thank you. And thank you, Jean, very, very much. Thank you, Superintendent Preisler, for reminding me.
No, that's all right. Thank you.
And then, once again, Kevin and Michelle with all of the policy things. It takes a lot of time and effort. Thank you very much for all of that effort. At this time, we have a motion by Ashley and seconded by Marcia to approve the consent motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Brenda, do we have anyone for open forum? No. Moving on then to informational items. Building project update.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome Mr. Keith Stockman to come on up. Keith, if you recall, was with us more towards the beginning of our projects. He has, we've spent a lot of time together, and he is here again to give some updates. He has been our site supervisor from ATS&R, and so he and Carl and Eric will give some updates on our building projects, and glad to have Keith here again. Thanks, Keith.
This is a December thing.
Well, good evening, members of the board, Dr. Ressler, and members of the community. My name is Carl May. I'm Director of Information Technologies and Facilities for TCU, and I'm extremely excited this month to be here presenting these photos for you, but for an entirely different reason, because I can pretty much guarantee you, very positively, that Keith, Terry, Eric, and myself will never have a 5 weeks again like the 5 weeks we just had. And
Three more to go yet.
we've got 3 weeks to put our heads down, right? And things are really looking good. And I have to thank our co-report here, very sincerely, Keith, for your hard work. The way he manages a meeting is incredible, in spite of someone who likes to talk a lot and other people that like to ask lots of questions. And your job has been masterful, so thank you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of things. And Keith has a document that he can provide some detail on. And we're going to start at the Lonsdale site. And as you can see, this is that wonderful view that I've been mentioning time and time again as you come up around the corner there on the northeast side of Lonsdale driving towards the parking lot. This is what I found this morning. Keith, all of our security lights work. That's awesome.
Great.
I didn't expect anything different. And as we come into the space, this is the common space as of early this morning. Isn't that cool? Yeah, you just get goosebumps when you see this stuff. So the lighting, all the tech is in. And Keith, if you can touch on some of the highlights that went on during your punch list at Lonsdale.
So Friday I was in the building for most of the day, going through room by room and tagging the walls or casework where I found some unsatisfactory or damage that needs to be repaired by the contractor before hopefully you guys move into the building and use it in September. Most of the items I found again were just paint touch-ups. There's a couple things on the cabinetry, tack boards that were damaged or dirty, things like that. So pretty not uncommon list that we run into when we're closing out a project.
So a couple of the highlights here too in this room or this space. You've got access for power as we move our portable presentation systems around for flexible learning in the environment. And we have 3 stations for flexible learning, keeping as much of that whiteboard and active space available to those young people as possible. And then all of this furniture, which has, if you notice, there's 2 tiers. You've got a high bay tier in the back, and then you also have a space in the front. And then, of course, carpeting provides 3 layers to get those kiddos right up and close, and also provides some writing and workspace on the back end of this furniture. Very cool stuff. Our F&E team, Gene Kopp, organized just a phenomenal set of visits, and the logical processes and the systems, the quoting, really helped pull these things together with very little doubt in detail, and also execution and installation. So thanks to Gene for that. These are the classrooms. Over here is an example of a kindergarten room, and you can see the various types of furniture and flexible FF&E that they have in there. But one of the things that I'm noticing is all the ambient light and bright light and these new LED type fixtures that you're going to see throughout the district as time goes on now just really make the room pop. And they're dimmable for those times when you need to manage the crowd a little bit and dial it back. This is a breakout area, multiple use, flexible learning space as well. An example of a teacher station. Notice nothing is screwed to the floors or the walls. They're able to face and engage the students the entire time. And their mobile technology is ready for use at any point in that classroom because it's on wheels. And then another perspective of the same, looking from the teacher's desk through one of the nano walls that are between the classrooms. Another perspective from the student station in the corner of a classroom and the nano wall, and then also some of the flexible shelving and movable storage systems that are available then for those resources in the instructional time. And that very cool seat, and it's really comfortable. Okay, this was actually something that Lisa at Rickway helped us out with. She found a color, if you look at that color, you know that band that goes around the media center that matches perfectly, and it's a durable carpeting, and just actually the threshold matched beautifully. Rather than just doing the infill, We went and extended that up to the extents of where the first step are to reduce the amount of wear in catching and vacuuming and cleaning and maintenance. A much better long-term maintenance solution. So as we look ahead here on the punch list and also kind of what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, things are wrapping up, right, Keith?
There's substantially complete, yes.
Yeah.
We do have some site work to finish up yet, some soils and sodding to take place outside. But for the most part, and also the unit ventilators in the classrooms, they're buttoning them up today, this week to close them up and get them so they're functioning here real soon.
Yeah, the panels need to be put in and things of that sort. And as we look down the list here, some of the things that you see that were in flux last month, we've got the vinyl base installed. Keith has started that external punch list, is completed actually around the outside of the building except for the sod, DT units. And then we started the technology installs. So our team was in putting in VoIP sets. So Julie and Lori and Austin and Tim were working together to get the IDF, first of all, fiber linked back to the frame, and then get the phones in place. Moving on to TCU Le Center, these are the rails that are going to hold this equipment here. And as you look at these, there's a lot of weight that's going on the roof, and the engineering came together very well. We've got them sealed up and ready for weather and ready for 30 years of use. The elements that are going underneath those big dogs are these brackets. It's kind of like a Lego system, where you just snap things together. And you've got the base, the Lego base, and then this snaps onto the base, and then those big tall units, condensing units here, then get bolted very securely onto this frame. And that'll be a long...
There's a need to raise them off the roof because they're going to be operating during the winter months, and they're going to go through a defrost mode. So water and ice is going to be falling off of them, building up. So we need some space for that ice and water to freeze, thaw, and collect. So that's why we lift them about 24 inches off the roof.
Yep.
Area.
Then on the inside, these are the receiving units that then provide fresh air, heat, and air conditioning to the classrooms. And you can see that the plumbing and everything is getting put in place. We've got some HVAC fin tube heat tubes going in the commons area to convert that to hot water from our steam system. So really the only part that's steam dependent anymore is that north end of the building where the old shop is and the auditorium. So we're getting very close to being able to convert to boilers sometime in the near future. At TCU Le Center, this is the new secured entry. To your right, you're seeing where actually you're going to be entering the office. And then you would be allowed through the office. This is a solid window, entering into the main part or the main artery of the building in this door right here. And this should look familiar, and that's your entry then to the media center. So the design came together very well, and it'll be a nice, safe, secure entry.
Carl, one question.
Yeah.
Will the media center, will that be doors or glass? Or how, because you have to enter in the one secure way, so then what will that open part be?
Just to your left here, do you see this threshold?
Yep.
There's a double door there. And then there's a window further down the hall here so you can see into the media center.
But where that plastic is hanging, what will be there?
That is the main hallway.
Let's open.
Yeah. So this will become enclosed right here with an aluminum structure.
Ah, okay. I was going to say, what's
Yeah,
the
there's
purpose
one
of
little
having a
piece of the puzzle.
secure entrance if you're walking? I get it. Okay.
No, that's a very good question. There is a storefront aluminum window system missing in
Uh-huh.
this little block.
Perfect.
And that guides you into this main door. Yeah.
Got it.
Good question.
Thank you.
Carl, then all students will go through there as well?
During passing times, they will go through that entry, but we can latch the exterior doors open to provide throughput for more traffic. When passing time is done, then we close that off, and the secure entry is the only way that you can get into the building. And that's how we do it at our other TCU locations. So you've got that 20-minute window when the bus drops are happening, and we leave it, we leave it open. But there's times of the year, too, when that's a little wider because of potential delayed buses in the winter, things of that sort. And then it's as tight as it can be at the top of the day, so the doors always remain secure.
Can that area be viewed by the office staff to kind of monitor who else is walking in during that time?
Absolutely. That's why this window is here, because the primary office attendant is right on the other side of this threshold. There's going to be some casework arriving, Kevin, and it's going to be right along that line. So they have a sight line out this door for who's coming from the school into the vestibule area, should there be a passing time, right, when you have this area full. After school events, things of that sort, we can latch those doors open and pull in a lot more of the public rather than just routing them all through the office. Then during that secure time of day when we have instruction going on, all of the public and anyone coming into the building for any reason is routed into this door only. Then they're allowed, identified, and then passed through with a buzz-in type of a system to unlatch this door and allow them into the building. The rest of the perimeter of the building has been secured for quite some time outside of fob access. So all of our doors around the perimeter are plugged. So that's been a really, really rewarding project, knowing, you know, how this has been for so many years. This is a conference room. You've got some down lighting here and some LED bright lighting in the office area. This is the alternate that we took to replace these windows. These are windows now that we have fresh air coming in another way. We don't have to worry about opening them or them staying open over a weekend, right, Eric? And having little puddle friends to clean up when we get back. And here we are today. The people from Wenger came and installed the new lockers in the TCU band room, like what you see here behind. So it's a very similar type of a locker storage system to keep their instruments safe and secure when they're in the band room. And this is the band room proper. Isn't that
It's a
neat?
lot different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Right now, the windows are installed, no plywood at this point, but
Yeah, this is an older shot, but. And then these are the retrofit lighting and that new wall that we have. They're dividing the old, we used to call it the Taj Mahal because it was so big, right? Well, we cut the Taj in thirds, and this is the north third of Taj. And then, of course, looking back into that, these are the LED retrofits that we did because this project was able to use LTFM dollars. This is Brian's office, sheetrocked, and then an entry into the hallway out to the receptionist area. And look ahead here, Keith.
Yeah,
You were
wanna-
just here this
Yes,
afternoon.
you certainly had some positive news of all the work that
Oh.
has occurred and kind of
Yeah.
get us gauged here.
walking through Friday evening, I was really disappointed at the progress or lack of progress on the project. It was pretty dirty and wasn't very well organized, but some efforts over the weekend and especially today, a lot of these classrooms came together very quickly today. A lot of these seating units that Carl showed you, one of the first units, classrooms, the univents, they're in place, the tops are in place. We just have to finish some piping to them. Missing some control valves. They're coming Wednesday, but once they arrive, they'll be installed and we'll get these units up and running for the classrooms. They will start cleaning on the second floor this evening. Bringing a cleaning crew at night, trying to get some classroom spaces available to the staff, get them back in the classrooms, get the desks in and things like that. So cleaning efforts will start this evening through the week, and hopefully by the end of the week we can turn some classrooms over to the staff.
Thanks, Keith. This is the nano wall in the new instruction wing at the high school. Looking into the biology space, it's absolutely phenomenal how this is going to change instruction for us. Really quite a product, very durable and very flexible as well. You're seeing here ceilings in the instructional wing too. That's the now a wall we were just viewing, now open or tucked away as they're padding out the ceilings. This is the casework that is installed in the PLTW lab on the north side. And then looking over here is a view of the special education extension in Area B on the southeast corner of that new addition.
Go back to slide. So in that top photo, we don't have yet, but there are folding partitions between the classrooms, healthcare partition solid, that we're waiting for delivery on that. We have the track installed, we're just waiting for the panels to arrive so we can get those installed, but that will divide the room, the space into 3 spaces. And then it'll be a solid panel, it'll be the glass system.
And all writable walls.
Yes, writable surfaces. This is another view of that special education suite extension classroom. And then, as you can see, technology is arriving. The team from VSI has been visiting each of our sites, putting together mobile carts and wireless Chromecast presentation systems for delivery to the classrooms, and we keep them safe in a central area locked up until we get closer to the school year and deploy those out to classrooms. And our tech team has been very busy programming Chromecasts and Chrome devices, right, for these devices so they all have a unique ID and can be addressable to stream content. That is the big chiller. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Yep. I just love to see that. Okay.
350-ton cranes in front of your school a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was amazing. So it's landed, it's piped in, we've got the coils to hook up into our existing air handler, right, Eric?
Yep.
Those get dropped into that AHU and large fan system essentially. And hopefully we're gonna be chilling that place. They're gonna be doing testing and turn up on the 19th. And hopefully the chill is gonna come, the big chill will arrive sometime around the 26th, 25th, 26th.
Just in time for the people.
Yeah, just in time for people to get here. So, this is a thing of beauty. This is the ag shop, and as you can see all the ductwork above here, not only is that delivering air, but it's also taking contaminants and other things out of it. So you're seeing it now in its painted state, whereas prior we had a pretty much an empty box. And you see the LED strip lighting starting to take shape here. They got 2 rows in today. This was as of yesterday. And they're putting in technology, wireless access points, IP clocks, and then flat panel TVs, things of that sort will start to arrive in that space soon. This is another view of the PLTW lab with chilled beams. That's what they call those things. So you got these devices in the ceiling that provide cooling right at the point of use rather than cooling it in a central unit and shoving it all around the building. So it's on demand in the zone, very, very efficient way to manage.
Both hot and cooling water going into
Yes.
just short type water. It's a tempered water system that you can change the water temperature by mixing chilled water and hot water together and getting the appropriate temperature for the space.
All of that is driven off of that central chiller. And this is another view of your PLTW lab, casework on this looking into the shop in the adjacent window there to the right. And this is the casework, again, being finished up for the PLTW lab.
Guy standing on top of that?
He's a nurse.
I was like, he's busted. Well, he's got paint.
Busted,
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to do that.
We'll have a conversation.
That's so funny.
This is actually the hallway coming adjacent to
I
and
know.
connecting the new ag shop into the existing Area F, and another view of that same hallway from the other way, and more of the casework in the biology lab. And then this is the technology presentation system for the biology lab as well, similar to what we have in TCU Le Center, another view of the same, and looking out into the instructional space. Isn't that cool, Eric?
So those large openings you see there will have overhead garage doors, but there'll be glass, so we'll be able to still see in and out of the space. Have those around that and the PLTW labs. Everything is open view. I mean, it's just going to be a great space.
Wow.
Now we're moving into the Performing Arts Center. What you're seeing here is this ribbing.
There's a lot been done since
There's a
this been
lot
here,
of
too.
work that it's come a long way since you guys saw it last. When we went in for the tour. So they're now creating a temporary work floor so that they can bring a bunch of lifts in. Because what happened, you see all that light that's coming over here? You're going to see a little bit later. We left it had a missing tooth for a long time. Now that that's boxed in, we have no way of getting heavy equipment in and out, right? So they're going to bring a bunch of lifts in on this temporary raised shoring and stage so that they can do all the overhead lift area and finish it. Now look at that view. There's a lot going on in this picture. We can touch on a couple of things, Keith. First of all, this beautiful stonework, right, in the front.
Which will be then capped off with some oak, gray stained oak to match the rest of the other oak that we're using on the walls that divide the seating areas.
Yep.
Orchestra pit, the stage cantilever is over the top of the orchestra pit. That'll also be trimmed out. A large proscenium drywall assembly will be overhead, which will hide all that ugliness up there. 2 different angles assembled. What else can I say here? The stage, they're going to start painting this week. Ceiling and the walls in the background there. They're ready for that.
Yeah.
In my handout, you'll see my picture's a little bit more current, but they've done a lot more stonework than what's on Carl's pictures. And the impact is like, it's nice material. Gosh, it's going to look good in there.
Really is. You have a couple more views here. You're seeing all the concrete floors are ready to receive the seating and the staged tiered seating on the wings. And again, continuation of the riser floor. This is a view from the tech booth that sticks out at the back so that our technical people can have their heads out in the room and in the space as they're running the equipment.
My picture on the far right on the top row for the auditorium is taken from that control room location, looking at the stage. And the next one is the stage looking out into the, at the control room in the opposite direction. What they're gonna concentrate on now is the work up above where those catwalks and lights are. I mean, much of the HVAC ductwork is in place. And you see some lighting is installed, but now that they've built this deck on there for a flat surface, they get lifts in there, they'll go up there and they'll do the sprinkler piping, the rest of the electrical work, anything else that needs to be done. They'll be spray painted at that point. And then these 8-foot square clouds get lifted up into place, and 3 rows of clouds that will provide the sound control, physical control within the space. So we have to get everything done above before we can start lifting those clouds. Because once they're in place, you won't be able to get access up there with a lift or with anything to reach the work above them.
This is the site work for the new parking lot and then curb and gutter, right?
Went in Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and they finished up today.
And bituminous is coming in hopefully later.
They used to use the word hopefully. Last week it was next week, and now they're talking about the end of this week, so
Yep.
hopefuls are getting better.
Yep.
And that'll be nice to have that parking lot in place.
This shot to the right here is a crane setting that last panel for the auditorium, finally buttoning it up so we can get interior work done. As we look at the Early Learning Center here, this is the entry.
This is so fun.
Isn't that
This one
neat?
is, I think, fun. This one is fun.
It's just really a bright, welcoming space for,
Let me see that tree.
yeah,
It works.
and it doesn't look stressed. The tree lives. It doesn't look too stressed, actually. And this is a secure drop-off area for ADA accessibility, wheelchair, handicapped, and little kiddos needing assistance.
The nice thing about that is before, if you remember, it was one contiguous curb. Now it's actually cut out, so it's wider, so you can actually safely get on the curb. That it's pretty nice, pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a good job of grading that, too. And then this is the similar type of an access on the south end of the building with the new storefront windows.
Really revised, isn't it?
It really sharpened it up.
Where is this?
On the south side.
You go back behind the school.
The
Okay.
baseball fields and everything would be directly south.
Okay.
Basically, it's just a bunch of junk back there.
Yeah.
It's kind of ugly.
It was. Good job.
It's hard to recognize it, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Everyone's kind of.
There won't be any.
And this is the interior office spaces, looking at the main office.
Just drive up.
And this is
We might,
one of the adjacent offices and a third adjacent office,
Over mainly like office. It wouldn't
ready
be
to
public
actually receive
staff, so
equipment
that we
and
can keep
furniture
that
this
back
Friday.
a lot more open.
Okay, orient me to where this.
Hopefully, we're going to have people in the, I'm sorry, what was that?
Where were we here on the left side?
Okay, here, this is the main hallway just coming outside of the office, so there's a secure entry here as well. So if I go up a few slides, people would tool in this door right here, right? Then they would come through the office. This would be latched during instructional time. They come into the office this way, and then they're allowed into the space by a buzzer in similar fashion. So they have to greet a person at the door to be identified and led into the space. And this is the main entry then going into the classroom additions. As we step through here, these are the classrooms. The doors and the casework are just gorgeous. Just absolutely beautiful as you look at the finish on them. A lot of green and
Seal
light.
grids are in, and we've dropped in the lights, and this week we'll start putting the flooring down in the renovated area. So we'll be ready for FF&E when it shows up here in a couple days.
Yeah.
This one still needs a ceiling though.
And then this is the fixtures in the hand washing area, just outside of the restroom. Nice and colorful. This is Luke's very detailed 2-week look ahead. And Keith, if you just want to touch on a few of the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Well, this week, which is August 12th, the week in the bathroom areas, they will be installing the toilet partitions and accessories. There will be some building signage on the outside that announces the building, and also trying to clear up the site a little bit. Later on, they'll be pouring bituminous hopefully later this week also. They've already started hanging bathroom fixtures, which I think the picture that Carl and I have was from last week, so many of those are already in place. They do need to install some fixtures in the cabinetry in some of the classrooms. The park, as I said before, the parking lot will be blacktopped here, and my notes said later this week. And then the rooftop unit startup should have been today. I'm not sure that occurred or not, so.
RTU startup, yep. And that is the long and the short of our monthly tour through our sites. Eric has been doing a good job of keeping our teams. You know, I was talking to Eric this morning on the way into work, and I said, you guys remember playing the game Minesweeper? Mm-hmm. Right? PC version of Minesweeper, where well, what our teams have been doing basically is playing Minesweeper. So every time they go to a hallway and there's a piece of new equipment or something in his own way, they just have to move around it and go get stuff done. And I hope you guys have been noticing as you've been coming to summer events that irrespective and irregardless of all the construction that's been going on, the sites are really looking good, really looking good. It was so fun to walk into the link and have that done, you know, and just ready to receive people. So they go and do what they can do as they can do around this, and then very quickly and very soon, we're going to be moving a lot of stuff back into rooms. And, you know, one of the things to keep in mind is this is something we've done a couple times before. You know, back in 2011, 2012, if you remember, during a snowstorm in December, we moved all of those 5th and 6th graders from HRS temporary classrooms, right, into Area A. And then the classrooms were opened in Area A, and then we moved those into the instructional areas around the site in 2 days, over a weekend in a snowstorm. And you remember the first year Dr. Preisler was with us, the February pipe burst at our primary building. And that was a 2.5-day concerted effort to find instructional space in the middle of the worst vortex, you know, in 15 years at that time. We've had a couple more since, but this is doable, and our teams are just doing remarkable. The guys from Wenger, when they were doing the install today, and I caught them at the end of the day, said it was really great to have Paul and Eric come over and help our teams. He said they really know how to work. So, yeah, big kudos. And it was nice to catch them and hear that, because this is all very, very doable. And I'm just really excited to start the school year, you guys. So.
We still got a lot to do, though.
Yes, we do.
Like I said, we don't take our foot off the accelerator.
You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the good thing. These things are wrapping up, so.
Yeah. Are there any other questions?
I guess I'd just like to make one comment. You guys are doing a great job and stuff, but I would like to also thank our staff, our custodial staff at all the buildings, because they are stepping up as well. It's not just Paul and Eric, it's everybody that's stepping up and doing the job and going above and beyond. And I'd like to take the minute to thank them all for doing such a
Bet.
job,
Thank you.
being a part of the team.
Yep, and these next few weeks will be big, and they've done a great job of getting everything else done that they can, and get moving forward. I mean, and as you consider within each one of the sites, and they'll be teaming up, but you know, with Lance and John and Andy and Michelle, keeping things going there in Le Center when they've not had like the main office area to go. And Montgomery, you've got Jamie and Tyler and Hans and Mary Lou working hard to get the rest done, knowing that we've got community ed packing up, so they're getting some getting out the two-wheel carts. And Mark has he's moved the items that were all in the gym out into a staging area, so they're ready to go into classrooms, which already are. And then the additional types of cleaning around things here at the high school and that you're going to have to help me with our most recent hire, Dick, correct?
Doug.
Oh, D, okay. I knew it was with a D there, and Mary. And we've been down a custodian here at the high school this summer due to a medical leave, and so they've needed to do some extras there. But no, you're right. It's been everybody, and our educators who've been in those areas they did a phenomenal job moving out, and we want to make sure to give them as much the time necessary during workshop week, and that wishes that we would have been able to get a little bit before, but we knew it would be a tight construction timeline. Any other questions though for team or Keith? I don't know that we'll have him back here in September.
Well, thank you
He'll want to
for
come back.
keeping us up to date.
He'll want to
on
come
everything. It's
back.
been fun.
Been a bad boy.
Yeah, that's right.
We can sit here and tag team like this.
Yep.
We spend a lot of hours together, that's for sure.
Thank you guys very, very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on, online enrollment and registration, Superintendent Ressler.
Yeah, thank you. This has been in the works for a long time, a couple years. And I'll give Jean and Brenda kudos. They have been the epitome of perseverance and troubleshooting. And if it can't go this way, let's try that way. And so, yeah, we thought it would be great to be able to show what we've created.
Yes, great. Superintendent Ressler, members of the board, I'm Jean Kapp, Director of Business Services, and as Terry already mentioned, we've been working for a long time to get online enrollment and annual registration happening for all of our families at TCU, so we're really excited. I was a little bit nervous today when it all went out, but it's very exciting.
I did it and it was awesome, so I can
Was
say
awesome?
firsthand, thank you.
Yay!
Like 100% better.
Good. So the process that'll happen now that will be for new families, the enrollment is completed one time per family, which is just typically how it's always been. But now a family will be able to go online into JMC directly, and that's where they'll start with TCU. Registration will be done annually per student and per family. And so what happens in the process is the family completes the enrollment. It would go to the business office, more specifically Brenda. She says yes or no, and then at that point they would be routed to annual registration the way a returning student family would be. There's finishing instructions, there's forms to sign and other, and then at our sites they would process that information. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a demo. So for enrollment, the way to get started for anyone wanting to enroll at TCU is there's a number of different ways that we're trying to route folks in. Call it like I like to think about you funnel, not tunnel. So you have lots of ways for people to get there because everyone kind of thinks differently and kind of takes a different route, but to point them all to one place so you don't have to repeat content. So you can go directly through JMC. If you go to the JMC online, it takes you to this type page, and it would be the new enrollment versus normally our parents would go directly to the parents or to this parent button. Or we have a couple spots on our TCU website, and that's what it looks like to welcome families that go through the website. So if I went into an online enrollment, it pops you into here. And it just looks so simple, but I feel like I love it because Brenda and I fought pretty hard just for this page to look the way that it does. It was just testing it out and seeing where do we have fail points, where do people get stuck. We did a lot of different examples, had other people do examples, tried to do one with our staff, our office team, and someone punched in an O'Malley and the O with an apostrophe. Kind of that's the sort of stuff you have to try to figure out because that's a reasonable name to put in, but it didn't work. So we learned a lot. These are called ghost fields, I've learned. And so that's just another way to make it more obvious for families what we want them to type in so they do it right the first time and then we don't have to do stuff in the office. So that's kind of just how we've been cleaning it up. So it's essentially just 5 steps, a little bit of a test here, and there's a number of things that it's hard to show in here, but there also are mandatory, so that's another way that we're trying to just refine what we get as data before it comes into the office. So you have to have a phone number, you have to have an email, just for different fields that we've gone through tests to say you have to have these fields.
So
and then
this
this
is
will feed in. This is enrollment.
Brand new person.
Yes.
A brand new
person. Just
one time
making
only.
sure.
Yep, this is just the online enrollment. So then, I think there's a screenshot of what it would be. You can also notice there's the language translation in the form. So then for annual registration, this is, I guess what we launched really today. So JMC email went out to parents today to say that that was open for to view advisors, which is always what people want to see, and then to also please go complete their new annual registration. And so that here is through the parent portal. Oh, Brenda, can you type? It's test and test. I can show you what happens. Yeah. This is my little test family. One of many. Here we go.
That's lowercase.
All lowercase, yep. Thank you.
Now we know the password.
Uh-oh.
Your test family.
Oh my God.
I need to be such a.
Oh my gosh, we just do test and test one or something. I did this afternoon and it didn't do this.
It'll let you put the same password in.
It will.
Yeah.
Well, I changed it so none of you can hack in. Okay, so this is what a parent sees when you go in. And so where we're trying to get folks to go then is to this register for 2019-2020 and to start or continue your registration. So if I had just done that enrollment step, I would have gotten an email to my email inbox that said, welcome, and then here's your steps, here's how to get a JMC login, and then once you do your JMC login, it takes you into the parent portal, and then you would come in to register. Then you'd come here and you go in, or if you were a returning family, you would just go straight into your one that you already have to come into here. So here's my somewhat real information. So one of the other exciting things is as we are working with them on how to do the online enrollment is this will get populated from that enrollment page, and it will automatically click for some of these updates so that we're already making sure that we have somebody in there as emergency. So that was another thing, just another step that we have to meet with them on and talk about. We'll go through here, it'll show the data they blacked out is they can't change it, otherwise it's changeable. Brenda and I, the JMC admin, we can change what we show and what's available. This is new through JMC, so that's exciting. This is data that's required by MDE, so having stuff in JMC like this means that we don't have to have a form. So that's great. So this, you go through and enter your yeses or nos, whatever fits for your family. Oops. I think I did this already. Okay. Okay. These are another new feature or tool that we're kind of checking out, or that we're starting to utilize here in this, which is these are called custom fields. So they're best for yes/no type questions. So we like to ask if people can go on walking trips, so that saves a form. Another thing that we're required to ask is if you have a active duty military family member, so that's another form we don't have to do. So really simple things. Those stars mean they're mandatory. And then you can leave comments for the staff. If you had more students, it would just do these steps again. I just have one in my test. So then this goes to finishing instructions. And so we have in here the next steps that they all have to complete. This is the Spanish translation all out here so that it doesn't have to double up in the page either, to try to keep it cleaner. So the other tool that we're using to kind of try to reduce the paper usage is eForms. So you can click on there or go to Sign Forms, and this is the ones that assign to my test student. You go to Add Signature, and it's a little bit tricky because it goes below the screen, which I'm talking to them about. But you can.
Yeah, it took me a minute to find it.
I know, I've talked to them about it. I'm still talking to them about it. Then you save it and it's up here. So that's the way you can simply add signatures, and then our staff can actually go in and see who signed. You can download and export it and see that way who's signed. So again, then that's 3 more forms that we don't have to have our families doing on paper or our staff printing. So that's really exciting. Just even little stuff like, so I clicked on that link and it opens in a new tab. I mean, just even stuff like that, that's all come about through testing so people don't kind of get lost. The bus registration, this is a Google form, saves another form, so that's exciting. Free and reduced meal, this will this is still like paper, but it's actually PDF fillable now too, so that's good. And then there's a couple more things on the enrollment page too that would have to be completed if you were first time. That goes back out to that same enrollment page where I was before. And then we just try to give them some other helpful reminders, ways to get involved or ways to make their life easier to work with TCU. And then we also have, this is kind of another step that we're taking, which is student directory and photo release. And again, those are available via translation, but this is our, kind of our opt-out stuff. So that's just another way to introduce this information without having multiple forms. So
Do we
that-
have the emergency contact form on there yet?
well, you can do your emergency contact right in here.
You can, so
You
you don't
can.
have to fill it out for each student?
Well, you should check with your office specifically. So that's one of the tricks of this has been, we haven't been able to do a lot of this with our staff because we've been really doing a lot of it since April through the summer, and where our office team isn't in. So I wouldn't want to speak specifically for them if they're okay with us taking away that field form right now. I do meet with them in August, but that's sort of it's a tough timing for when we start the year. But if it's up to date in here, I would think you're okay, but they might have another process, so.
Because we do fill that part out when we register kids for sports. We have all that contact information in there also, so be another way. of-
Yes, yeah, I mean, it's on here. It's, isn't it, Brenda, where did it go?
I don't know, it's not showing on yours though.
Oh, I might be special because I'm a test.
It was on when I did mine.
You are
Was it?
special
Yeah.
too.
There was a place to fill out emergency contact.
Well, we don't want, if you have like if you have a person in here, then it starts Mars stuff, and so I'm a little bit, I don't have my full rights, I don't think. But yeah, there's the parent, there's the first thing you see is the parent information and the emergency contact.
Yeah, it makes
stuff.
you put in two.
Yeah.
people.
Yep. So, yeah, so it's really exciting. It's sort of then taken longer than we thought. This is where we thought we'd get to last year. So like I said, we're utilizing custom fields, e-forms, and then the finishing instructions to kind of take away a number of different forms. And why is this so important? Well, number one, we just want to make it easier for parents. And to standardize the parent experience across the district, where we do have parents with kids in 3 different buildings. And to increase the accuracy of student data, so if parents are going in there and updating with their most recent information or email, that's a good thing. And then to reduce back to school prep for our office staff and to reduce our district paper use. It also means that this would be accessible for our staff from any site should we ever have an issue where we can't access it on site. Doesn't help to have a binder of student information if you can't get to the school. Just stuff like that you have to think about. So it's exciting, and I saw we had 260 today that were signed, so we have 1,800 to go.
Only came out today.
So it's very exciting. So
really
thank
great.
you for, especially to Brenda, all of our school secretaries for being super flexible and patient. And the high school team, they have been doing online JMC e-forms for a couple of years, so it was great to have them and their guidance and a test and say it works. It's great, we love it. That's really helpful. And then the JMC team for their developmental work, we've been meeting with them a lot and kind of working in a partnership with them to get it going. So hopefully more to come on some more forms that can go on to JMC directly and a parent app possibly later this fall or winter. So good stuff coming.
Great stuff, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and you
you.
guys, it worked for you, because not that I was checking names a couple times today, but.
Well,
But it
so
worked.
you, I did mine, not today though.
No.
It was up, it's been up, right? I mean, I did it this,
You couldn't see your advisor, but you could get into 1920. And
Okay.
that's kind of a change
my
that Brenda and I,
guardian
again,
said all
another
this forms
learning for
before
Brenda and
today.
I, you can't have online enrollment open and not have the year open. So we
Sure.
kind of had to change how we did it because we used to not have the school year open until we were ready to
Mm-hmm.
show advisors. But that's not possible if you're going to have online enrollment. So now we know how to just simply hide the advisor and have the school year open. So yes,
Yeah, I
There's
was
been
like,
an-
because I'm like, I already did it, but then I saw their teachers today, so.
Yes, yep, there was 150 of the 250 were today, so 100 of them before that, but.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was one of them.
Ashley did it today.
Sorry, I had a emergency.
That's okay.
No, it was a really good experience, especially for parents that have already done it before. And prior years, you had to fill out papers 100 times, so maybe you already said this. But also, it was nice. I noticed there are very pointed questions on there that you must have had to make sure to put somewhere. So I noticed that, and it was easy to select. And links to the bus registration and lunch, and it was great.
Good, 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 good.
Thank you, Jean and Brenda, very, very much. Next item, Positive Coaching Alliance, Year 3. Chad, please.
Dr. Preisler, members of the board, Chad Johnson, Activities Director. Just kind of an update on the Positive Coaching Alliance and why we play. Part of the sports in Minnesota State High School League, we have these two different programs that we are trying to advance and maybe give a little bit more guidance to parents, coaches, players on everybody wants to win, but it really isn't the main focus on high school sports. It's about being a team and being dependable and all of those kind of things. Anybody that was at the fall sports registration, you probably noticed there was not a speaker this year. The past 2 years, the first year is based on students and coaches. Second year is based on parents. This year is based on leadership. So it's 3 times during the school year we will have speakers come in during our Titan time, lunchtime, and they will give like a half-hour discussion with just our selected captains at the time, leaders, class officers, kind of anybody we want to put in those. It's more of a leadership thing. We've had a lot of discussions on the Positive Coaching Alliance within our conference itself. Everybody kind of knows the hour that goes on prior to our sports meeting, and it is, we're trying to figure out positive ways of still doing that because we have all realized our attendance at our fall sports meetings has declined. We've actually had people that have stopped even having fall sports meetings and are doing online ones, even within our own conference. So we're as a conference, we are talking about creative ways of still doing the Positive Coaching Alliance while not having people sit there for an hour and then the sports meetings, and everybody really wants to get there. One of our conference people had people actually walk out and stand in the hallway until the speaker was done before the sports meetings, and that's not very good either. So Dr. Preisler and I met last year after our speakers of just different things that we can do here at TCU, but it's something that we'll have to keep discussing and how we're going to continue to progress in the Positive Coaching Alliance. I do have a short video. The Minnesota State High School League tries to put out videos on why we play, again, talking about it's not really the, it is the focus or the importance is winning, but it isn't the whole, it isn't the only thing that's important. And way too often, parents and coaches, and I will give our parents credit. I did not have to go into the stands nearly as much as some of our other conference schools, and we talk about that quite a bit within our Minnesota River Conference. I do have little cards that I go give to people that are displaying good sportsmanship and also a non-confrontational way. We do have a kind of like a disciplinary card that you're supposed to go in and give to people that do not behave, and I gave 1 to ours and 2 to opponents' parents in the stands this last year. So we do it, but it's a very touchy subject. But the State High School League put out a video on why we play. It's 6 minutes long. I think you'll enjoy it, and kind of a little bit different perspective on what we as parents and coaches think about winning and how our behavior is in the stands. This kind of talks about how kids see parents and everybody else's, how they behave in the stands. So
Is it this one, Chad?
can we play? Is that the one, Brenda?
No. Be third from the left, Terry. Third from the
going to be a junior this upcoming year, and I play basketball.
Wait, am I supposed to look at the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, where am I going with this? Take two. I play basketball and volleyball.
This is so weird. I play baseball and hockey.
Basketball and baseball.
I play basketball and soccer.
I play football and I run track.
Mainly I play high school sports to stay in shape.
I play because I have a lot of fun.
I just really have passion for it.
I play high school sports because it really gave me a pathway into friendships.
I think sports builds character, and by playing sports, I think it's gonna make me a better person.
It also teaches you life lessons such as like work ethic, integrity, and character.
I've learned that you need to work hard to be able to get places in life.
My teams don't usually win that often, so we learn how to work together, we learn how to like have fun. Being a part of a team, I think it's important.
My biggest fan is my mom.
Definitely my mom. I always know that she's out there looking out for me, supporting me.
It's my parents and my grandpa. He says, I love watching you play. You really lead your team out there after every game. Like even if I didn't play, I'm just helping us lead on the bench. Always after every game, they just say, we love watching you play. It's super fun.
Well, first off, just like to say that to all the parents, thank you for putting in the time, but
Because no one wants their parents yelling at a referee or a coach or even a player.
I'm actually a ref myself for basketball. Getting yelled at is never fun.
I have definitely been a part of teams where the parents are a little crazy.
They look like stupid, I guess. I don't know how to word that.
I was at a tournament and a mom was yelling at her daughter. She was on the other team. She actually made her daughter cry. My whole team felt just bad.
People definitely try and motivate their kids in different ways. The screaming and yelling doesn't really help me personally.
I think parents sometimes they just get caught up in trying to see their kids be the best that they can possibly be. That can come off kind of wrong because they're so emotionally invested into the sport.
I don't think parents should coach because there are coaches already coaching your kids.
It's not their role. The referees are the ones with the whistle. You know, just give them good, positive things to listen to while they're playing their hearts out on the field.
I want to see from parents cheering on and picking each other and other kids up, not just your own kid. You want to pick up the whole team.
Parents need to be respectful of everyone.
I think sportsmanship for parents is honestly just as important as it is for the teammates.
I don't think any real success comes without failure.
Everyone makes mistakes. Like, you would not be a good athlete if you did not make mistakes.
Just knowing that you put forth your best effort, that's what I think winning is.
Parents need to realize that they're getting better through doing that, and they shouldn't just always be so critical. Just cheer them on.
There's definitely pressure from your parents, from your teammates, from your coaches to do the best that you can.
I don't actually really like when my parents come to my games. I often tell them not to come to my games just because like I like to be there to have fun and I don't want like pressure or anything.
If you take the pressure away a little bit and just let them learn and have fun with it, you will see so much more improvement.
I think a lot of athletes just want to vent after the game if it's not going their way or if it did go their way. And personally, I like when my parents just listen.
If I mess up, I know I mess up. So you telling me that it's not necessarily going to help.
If I had a bad game, I don't want to hear about the negatives because I guarantee I already have been thinking about it the rest of the game.
After a loss, a big loss, you know, you're already down and you just need the support to get back up because that's what they're there for. There has been situations where, I mean, they've been upset after the game that I didn't play and then they said, do you want me to go talk to the coach? I said, no, I can fix it. I'll just show them that I'm better in practice.
I feel like it should be the player's job to talk to the coach. It builds character. It's good for you to learn how to communicate how you're feeling with your coaches.
My coach definitely says that there's no I in team. It's all about if we can work as a team, you know, we can do great things.
No, I don't expect to be a professional athlete.
That's obviously a dream that I've had since a little kid. I don't know if that's gonna pan out. No. It's like less than 1%.
Personally, me, I don't really want to be a pro. I'm probably just gonna get my medical degree and just get out of it.
Thank you, Mom, for always being supportive, always sticking by me.
For always being there, being my biggest fan, always making sure that I'm taken care of, getting me to practice every single day.
You guys have always pushed me to be my greatest, and I want to thank you for that.
Thanks, Mom and Dad, for always listening to me and supporting me in all the different sports. I love you guys so much.
Your support and unconditional love has made me into a better athlete and a better person day by day.
We're kids. We're just having fun. Yeah.
That's a good video.
Yeah, that was really good.
So that was done by Minnesota Kids, and I know it's been showed nationally, actually. They did a nice job, the State High School League, putting that together, and again, that's the focus of the Why We Play and the Positive Coaching Alliance, and something like that. You know, it's nice to show, and we put it on our social media stuff, but it's those are good tools, you know, that were nice to show at that fall workshop, but the speakers maybe are something we just have to look into, so it's something we'll keep addressing in the future.
Chad, did
Questions
you
on
show that last Tuesday?
I did not. So actually, I didn't see it until after our meeting was done.
Yep.
Any other questions on Positive Coaching Alliance or Why We Play? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Yep, thank you. Next item under informational is new teacher in fall TCU staff workshop week. Superintendent Price.
Thank you. I'll keep this fairly brief. Wanted to just though with, in particular with some of our room moves and everything that need to happen, our workshop week's going to look very different this year, as well it should. But I don't think that we've ever really spoke too much about our new teacher workshop since we moved to the 3 days a few years ago, which was I hear over and over from our staff, from our new teachers, how thankful they are to have this time for induction and growth and supports. So our Tuesday is all of our new educators coming together, and we have our office professionals, our administrators, directors, and they get a wonderful breakfast from the FFA. And it's kind of a grounding, getting to know one another, some relationships, and then a few nuts and bolts with our website. Frontline is our absence software if you need to be gone that day. Used to be called ASAP. We do a special services overview. We do the little tour of the high school. We do the picture. And we do our coaching induction, and this is not a coaching as in a sports coaching. This is our cognitive coaching, which is a reflective dialogue and has really become a key part for our growth of our educators. And then we go into our professional learning community, induction and mentoring and coaching processes, and then Jenny Walskog does do introduction into mentoring and induction. Wednesday, we grab some breakfast, hop on the bus, and we do our tour of our communities. Definitely a highlight of the week. Lane's done a great job getting things set up, and you know it has looked fairly similar from year to year because well, they're new teachers. They haven't been here before for the tour. But we head off into each one of the communities and highlight the agricultural aspect of our communities, as well as the business side with a tour of European Roastery. Our chambers have been phenomenal on doing welcomes, and so it's been a really positive experience. And actually, I've even heard from businesses that we see an increase of our new staff who come into their businesses afterwards. So that's what it's all about. It's building relationships. Then in the afternoon, it's a little bit more into curriculum. So we've gone from broad general types of things into more specifics, and our digital resources, the blended learning intro, so that our new educators know what this blended learning thing is, and hopefully we don't have to use it this year. And then we move into curriculum in the further into the afternoon, our balanced literacy approach and Project Lead the Way modules, and then grading, reporting, and our websites. And then Thursday is at the site, so there's more of that site level induction, getting to know where things are, who people are, those types of things, and then some of the specific initiatives, especially PBIS, response to intervention, AVID, those types of things for our new staff. And then the afternoon is partnership time and mentoring with Q-Comp leaders and introducing mentors, and then going through some other specific aspects. So, you know, that's the 3 days with our new teachers, invaluable time, and really, again, appreciate when we were able to have that be an agreed upon language aspect. Our regular workshop, again, it looks very, very different. I can show you, but it's kind of hodgepodged all over because it's so individualized by our sites. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all at sites. We've not done that before, but felt it was very needed with the moves. I mean, you're going to have TCU Lonsdale, TCU Le Center, who are, and parts of TCU High School that are having massive moves, and others like TCU Montgomery and some of the high school who aren't really moving at all. So it's going to talk about differentiation. That's what the name of the game is this year. Our food service is going to have some sessions throughout that Amy and our site leads already determined what they would be. So Mondays at the sites, Tuesday is at sites, except for our coaches advisors meeting, and then van training for if anyone ever by chance would be transporting students or using our vans. Wednesday, again, at our sites, if possible, within buildings with a lot of room moves, do some staff meetings and some other trainings, but we're going to be flexible with that. If they're still needing to move, then that's what we got to do. In talking with a number of different staff, asked, you know, what are their thoughts on the all-district time, and to a T, every person said, we need to come together as an entire staff at some point, but we just can't do the full day. And I really took that to heart. And so Thursday, which is typically only half a day because of the open houses during the night, that will be our only all staff time together. We'll do some welcomes, and then we still do need to have some of our guaranteed viable curriculum time, and also departments having specific types of training. So that's our workshop week this year, and our new teacher workshop week, and one that takes a lot of team planning and people coming together and really make a schedule that will flow but really meet what people's needs are.
Great. Do we play football on Thursday night or Friday?
I believe our first home game, or our first game, is Thursday night at Waseca.
At Waseca. Thank you.
7 o'clock. Go Titans.
Any questions of Superintendent Preisler? If not, moving on to new business. First item is lawn and snow quotes. Any comments here, Superintendent Preisler, that you'd like to make before we entertain the motion?
Yeah, well, we did advertise the quotes in all of our newspapers to meet those requirements. This is a service that is a quote versus a bid because of the amount of dollars. By Minnesota law, if the service is between $25,000 and $175,000, quotes are adequate. The quotes did take into account not only financials, but the importance of amount of equipment and the insurance certification. And we did have two quotes, or two businesses that provided quotes. After review and discussion, the recommendation is to go forward with common ground for the snow removal and for the grounds. I do think that, and it came through a finance committee, something for us to examine in the future would be to consider if we want to split up our sites. The challenge with that comes, then you have multiple vendors that you're trying to coordinate and time things with, and yet realizing that it can be difficult for some businesses to be able to handle the size of the district that we are, but we need to take that into account.
We do need to make two motions here, one for the lawn service and then one for snow removal. So I'll entertain a motion to approve ground service, lawn and landscape as the lawn service contractor for the 2020 and 21 year.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kevin,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign, motion carries 6-0. Now, the motion to approve Common Ground Lawn and Landscape as the snow removal contractor for 2020 and 21. Entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ashley,
A second.
second by Krista. All those, any further discussion? If not, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 6-0. Next item, food service uncollectible balance. Krista.
Yep, so this resolution to make permanent fund transfer from Fund 1 to Fund 2. So whereas the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program regulations do not allow nonprofit school food service accounts to absorb operation losses due to bad debt. Whereas non-NSFSA funds must be used to restore identified and recordable bad debt. Whereas Tri-City United Schools NSFSA has identified and recorded $8,243.08 in bad debt in the Nutrition Services Fund 2 as of June 30th, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the Tri-City United School Board of Education that Tri-City United Schools will transfer $8,243.08 of its unassigned general fund balance to the Nutrition Services Fund 2 effective June 30th, 2018. Is that 19? 2019.
I didn't catch that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kevin. Any discussions?
Jean, do you have any additional comments
If
to
you
make?
have any questions on why this takes place, this will be an annual requirement.
Is this just 1 year's?
This is 1 year's. Yep, and it's typical of what we have seen in other years. There was a law change that you can no longer use your Fund 2 to cover uncollectible bad debt. So it must be from Fund 1. So we cannot restrict lunches, and we cannot use the lunch fund, Fund 2, to pay for uncollected. So it has to come from Fund 1. So this is, anytime you have a bad debt, every district in the country, I guess, because it's federal, so would have to do this, so.
And there's no way to ever recuperate that, is there?
No, we do a lot of work throughout the year to try to limit it. And that's, I've try to detail here so that we can just, there's a lot of work that's done to try to collect it throughout the year, but we do send to collections. We did send to collections twice this year, and we do recoup some of it, but it's minimal.
So this has nothing to do though with free or reduced lunch. These are people that don't qualify for free or reduced, but then don't have funds
Yes.
to, okay. Just
Yep,
to be
for
clear,
whatever
this is not
reasons
for
it's
people-
uncollected. So they either do not qualify or do not submit.
Sure.
We wouldn't necessarily know all of their
Right.
individual circumstances. Brenda does a great job and works really hard with the families, and if they're making progress, we don't write it off or send it to collections, or if they can make payments or anything like that. So this is what we truly believe we will not be able to recuperate, and then just from an accounting standards, we can't keep it on our books if we don't expect to get it. And because of the federal law, we have to move it from Fund 1, and I cannot move between funds without your say-so, so that's why I'm here.
And we've discussed this during policy committee meetings on different occasions and different steps. Working on, trying to come up with ways.
That's fine. I was just
Yep.
curious of that.
It's sort of an interesting spot, to be in, we can't.
I think one of the ideas, and I know we cannot encourage people who are making donations, but I think this would be an area, if we have someone who wants to donate, like we do now to the music department. In other school districts, there are people who donate to a lunch fund so that all of those students this could be a possible avenue to recoup
Yep.
some of that.
And we have had some of that, or people that when they graduate, they you know, whatever they have on their balance, they leave behind, or we do sometimes have family members who call in on behalf. That's more of a specific account, specific type thing. But yes, we would take that.
We do make the free and reduced forms available, readily available.
Oh,
Yep,
Those-
everyone will get a mailing.
so we can
Probably this
encourage a little
week,
bit more.
every person in the district will get a free and reduced form in the mail.
And the link was on the enrollment.
Yeah.
And it's on the enrollment, and hopefully, like I said, that's another, last week, James C. did their annual training session, and I know it was discussed there about having that be, within JMC, so hopefully that would help to, there's a lot of different circumstances that why someone, you know, they're either not eligible for a certain reason, or, they choose not to complete it, and there's only so much we can do. We really do try to be exhaustive in our efforts, but.
Well, and returning families have until October 1st to
Yep.
reapply. You must apply each year. And as we are getting into, you know, around that mid-September, if we have families that were qualified before and we haven't received a form, personal calls are made. We do work very confidentially with our counselors and social workers for that kind of support as well. And so just trying to help remind people to have that completed by that October 1 timeline, so they don't have a gap. Because once then you have the gap, and if you apply later on, yep, that helps you for the future, but you still have those in between, so.
Does happen. Yep.
Once again, thanks Jean, Brenda, Superintendent Preisler. This is a resolution, so it calls for a roll call vote. Michelle?
Yes.
Marcia?
Yep.
Ashley?
Yes.
Krista?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Resolution carries, 6-0. Next item, community ed rates of pay. Lane is coming forward or not?
Certainly can. We have pretty minor changes to it. This is exactly as what we brought forward before, but Lane, would you like to just state what is the additions to this rate of pay that we did not have before?
Yep, a couple things. Maggie Grimm and I just kind of added some things on there just for clarification, some things that have been on there in the past. And obviously with now hiring Melissa Bell as our Friendship Adventure Special Olympics instructor, so she is on there. In the past, we have had an art club, which we've paid an instructor before, so that's just a clarification kind of deal. Coaches and instructors that have helped in the past. So some of those are just, and then the behind-the-wheel instruction, classroom instruction, that typically changes on an annual basis, so some of those are just clarification kind of items. And then a few items, like I said, with the Special Olympics is new, and then art club is a clarification item, so.
Thanks.
Any other questions of Lane? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the updated community ed rates of pay.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Marcia. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ashley. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Lane.
Lane.
Yep. Next item is adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:28.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Kevin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Michelle. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you.